In the previous video, we understood what happens when fallback key is assigned a value of false. If fallback is set to false, then any path not returned by getStaticPaths will result in a 404 page. In this video, let's understand with an example what happens when fallback is set to true. First, let me walk you through in theory how fallback set to true affects pre-rendering. The first point is that the paths returned from getStaticPaths will be rendered to HTML at build time by getStaticProps. This is the same as fallback set to false, so there is nothing new here. However, the paths that have not been generated at build time will not result in a 404 page. Instead, Next.js will serve a fallback version of that page on the first request to such a path. In the background, Next.js will statically generate the requested path HTML and JSON, which includes running getStaticProps. When that's done, the browser receives the JSON for the generated path. This will be used to automatically render the page with the required props. From the user's perspective, the page will be swapped from the fallback page to the full page. At the same time, Next.js keeps track of the new list of pre-rendered pages. Subsequent requests to the same path will serve the generated page just like other pages pre-rendered at build time. Let's understand all these points with regards to our application. Now, the first point mentions that the paths returned from getStaticPaths will be rendered to HTML at build time by getStaticProps. So back in VS Code, our first and the most important step is to set fallback to true. I'm also going to include a console log statement in getStaticProps, which will help us better understand the fallback true behavior. So just before the return statement, console.log generating page for $harems.postID. Now, in the terminal, run the command yarn build. But as you can see, the build throws an error. Error occurred pre-rendering page /post/postID, and it says type error cannot read property ID of undefined. Now we will understand why this happens as we go through the next few points, but for now we can fix this using a flag that the Next router package provides. So at the top, import use router from next/router, and within the function component, const router is equal to use router. And right before the return statement where we display the post information, I'm going to check if router dot is fallback, and if that is the case, I'm going to return a loading text. Now we will talk about this fallback JSX in just a bit, but for now, let's focus on the build command. So with the code changes in place, let's run yarn build again. You can see that the build succeeds, and in the build logs, we can see the log statement from getStaticProps, generating page for /post/1/2 and /3. If we inspect the build folder, which is the .next folder, go to server, pages, posts, we see the HTML and JSON generated for post ID 1, 2, and 3. These are the post IDs returned from getStaticPaths. This covers our first point. The paths returned from getStaticPaths will be rendered to HTML at build time by getStaticProps. I hope this is clear. Now let's take a look at point number 2. The paths that have not been generated at build time will not result in a 404 page. Instead, Next.js will serve a fallback version of the page on the first request to such a path. Let's understand this. Back in VS Code, in the terminal, run the command yarn start to serve the built application. Now I want you to closely observe what is rendered on the screen when we navigate to different pages from the URL. First, we have /posts/1. When I navigate, the post details are present. We don't see this loading text in the UI. Let me reload so you get another chance to observe. Refresh. No loading text, but we directly see the post details. Now this is the same with /post/2 and also /3. However, it is not the same when we navigate to /post/4, which is why I want you to observe even more closer the next few seconds. You're going to see the loading text appear for a fraction of a second and the post details are rendered. Now, if you didn't catch that, please rewind the video and rewatch it, as I have a few more points to cover and cannot refresh the same page. So for path with post ID 4, the loading text was displayed on the first request. If we go back to our slide, you can see that the paths that have not been generated at build time will not result in a 404 page. So post ID 4 was not generated at build time. However, when we navigated to /post/4, the 404 page was not shown. Instead, a fallback version of the page was shown. In our example, the fallback version of the page is the loading text, which is why we see the loading text on the initial request to the page. Hopefully, point 2 makes sense now. Let's look at point number 3. In the background, Next.js will statically generate the requested path HTML and JSON. This includes running getStaticProps. So if we take a look at the terminal in VS Code, you can see the console log statement from getStaticProps, generating page for /post/4. And if we take a look at server, pages, posts, we now have 4.html and 4.json. So when you make an initial request to a path not returned by getStaticPaths, which is post ID equals 4 in our case, the getStaticProps function is run and the HTML as well as JSON are statically generated in the background. This is what point 3 conveys to us. Let's now move on to point number 4. When background static generation is done, the browser receives the JSON for the generated path. Now we don't have the network tab open, so I'm going to open the DevTools, navigate to the network tab, and now enter /post/5. You can see 5.json is fetched in the browser. This JSON will be used to automatically render the page with the required props. From the user's perspective, the page will be swapped from the fallback page to the full page. So as soon as the JSON is downloaded, Next.js automatically uses it to provide the necessary props for the page component. isFallback will also be set to false, and the full page JSX is rendered in the browser. And it is because of this switch from a fallback page to the full page that we need to handle the condition where props are not yet available in the component. So if fallback is set to true, it means that Next.js is generating the HTML and JSON in the background, and the props, or the post in our case, is not yet available. Which means we can't access ID, title, or body. If fallback is false, however, the props are available and can be used in the JSX. This is what point number 4 states. Once the JSON is received in the browser, Next.js will swap from the fallback page to the full page. The final point says that Next.js keeps track of the newly pre-rendered pages, and subsequent requests to the same path will serve the generated page just like other pages pre-rendered at build time. And this is a really important one. In the Network tab, if you inspect the document served when we navigate to /post/5, you can see it is an HTML document. But if you preview, it is actually the loading text. So the very first request to a path not returned by getStaticPaths will always return the fallback page. However, the full page is pre-rendered in the background, which will be used for any subsequent requests. So if I just refresh the page without emptying cache, you can see the HTML returned from the server now contains the full page content. This is the gist of point number 5. Hopefully, you now have a decent idea of what happens when you set fallback to true. Let me repeat the points by navigating to one more page to help you cement the fallback true behavior. With fallback true, only the paths returned from getStaticPaths are pre-rendered at build time. So HTML and JSON for post ID 1, 2, and 3 are generated. If we navigate to a path not returned from getStaticPaths, for example, /post/6, a 404 page is not returned. Instead, a fallback UI is presented, and in the background, the page is statically generated. At the moment, we are using loading text as the fallback UI, but you can include a well-designed loading indicator. While this fallback UI is being displayed, in the background, getStaticProps is called with the appropriate post ID, and the HTML and JSON files are generated in the build folder. So 6.html and 6.json. The first request to this new path will load the fallback page. Subsequent requests, though, will load the full page. This is the behavior when fallback is set to true. Now you might have a question: what if the user makes a request to /post/101? Our post IDs range from 1 to 100. There is nothing returned for post ID 101. Well, a possible solution is to return a 404 page. And Next.js makes it really simple to do that. In getStaticProps, if we are not happy with the response, we can return an object with a not found property set to true. And if that is the case, Next.js will automatically render the 404 page. For our post ID page, the API is supposed to respond with an object that contains a post ID, title, and body. So we can make a check to see if the data object contains an ID, and if it doesn't, return an object with not found set to true. So if not data.id, we return an object with not found set to true. Let's now delete this .next folder and rebuild the app. Yarn build. And we can now run the app using yarn start. In the browser, if we navigate to /post/1, it works fine. /100, we see the loading text and then the post details. If we navigate to 101 though, we see the loading text, but now the 404 page is rendered in the browser. So with not found set to true, the page will return a 404 page. Now another point I would like to highlight is the link component prefetching. If we load all the 100 posts and navigate to the post detail page, the loading fallback UI is not shown since the HTML and JSON for a link component is prefetched. Let me show what I mean by that. In the post list component, which is index.js, I'm going to return all the 100 posts instead of just the first 3. From getStaticPaths though, we will still return only 3 pages to be pre-rendered. When I now run yarn build, the 3 pages are generated in the server pages posts folder. If we start the app, so yarn start, and navigate to /posts, which renders the post list component, you can see in the network tab, the JSON data for 10 files have been prefetched. And the same are available in the server pages folder. Because of this, even when we navigate to post ID /4, we don't see the loading text fallback since there is no new data to be fetched. This is also the reason I have been directly navigating to the page instead of navigating through the link component. What you also have to keep in mind is that by default, any link component that is in the viewport initially or through scroll will be preloaded. So if I scroll, you can see a lot more JSON files being fetched and the HTML generated. When you're testing this fallback set to true, make sure you've made a note of all these situations to avoid any confusion. Now, when would you use fallback set to true? The true value is suitable if your app has a very large number of static pages that depend on data. For example, a large e-commerce site. You want all the product pages to be pre-rendered, but if you have a few thousand products, builds can take a really long time. Instead, you may statically generate a small subset of products that are popular and use fallback set to true for the rest. When someone makes a request to a page that's not generated yet, the user will see the page with a loading indicator. Shortly after, getStaticProps finishes and the page will be pre-rendered with the requested data. From then onwards, everyone who requests the same page will get the statically pre-rendered page. This ensures that users always have a good experience while preserving fast builds and the benefits of static generation. Alright, so that is about fallback set to true. In the next video, let's take a look at fallback set to blocking. Thank you all for watching, and if you're finding the videos helpful, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel.